This episode is brought to you by SD Sober Living. If you or someone you know needs a safe, supportive recovery home, then reach out to SD Sober Living at www.sdsoberliving.org or call 619-334-9869. That's 619-334-9869. Come get some fuck fentanyl and some San Diego recovery at SD Sober Living. Hey everyone, I want to take a moment to talk about something really important, mental health and addiction. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health or drug addiction, especially if they're facing chronic relapses or have a history of bouncing in and out of treatment centers, I want to recommend Baja Rehab. Baja is a premier lockdown treatment center located just 45 minutes from the San Diego border in beautiful Mexico. I've had the opportunity to visit their facility, and I can tell you firsthand, it's not only stunning, but also equipped with everything needed for recovery. They offer comprehensive medical detox and have a dedicated team of drug counselors and specialized therapists. If you are ready to take the first step towards healing, call Shalom, the intake director, at 619-855-6368. That's 619-855-6368. Your loved ones deserve a second chance, so don't wait until it's too late. Reach out to Baja Rehab today. This is the Fuck Fentanyl guy letting you know if you or a loved one is injured in a motorcycle accident, then call 1-800-Lawtigers for a free case evaluation. We are available 24/7. That's 1-800-Lawtigers with over $1.5 billion recovered in verdicts and settlements. Nobody got your back more than Lawtigers.
Is it worth it? Let me work it. I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it. It's your primitive, it's why I need number. It's your primitive, it's why I need number. If you got a big, let me search it to find out how hard I gotta work. Yeah, it's your primitive, it's why I need number. It's your primitive, it's why I need number. Boys, all type of boys. Black, white, Puerto Rican, Chinese boys. White, tanya, toyo, tanya. Black, tanya, toyo, tanya. Girls, get that cash. If it's 9 to 5 or shaking your ass, ain't no shame, ladies, do your thing.
Yeah, Missy Elliott. Fuck yeah, work it. My name's Luis Romero. This is the Fuck Fentanyl Podcast. I have my friend Sydney. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. That's a great song.
It's great. It's a great throwback.
Hell yeah, man. How could I miss that?
No.
So Sydney, are you from here in San Diego?
Yes,
Oh,
I was born and raised in San Diego.
Oh, nice.
My parents met in the Navy. They
Oh,
actually
really?
met in Okinawa, Japan.
Oh, for
and
real?
so yeah, my mom got pregnant with me, and she ended up getting stationed in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
So I was born on the naval base, the Balboa Naval Base
Oh,
Hospital.
no way.
Yeah. So yeah, I was born and raised here. I was born on June 11th, 1999.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, 99?
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
I'm 25. I'm about to be 26. So,
Wow, holy
yeah.
crap. Oh
Yeah.
my God. And what part of San Diego did you grow up in?
Clairemont.
Oh, what?
Yeah, Clairemont.
Several of my guests are from Clairemont.
Yeah, Clairemont's really cool. It's kind of a place that I try to avoid nowadays. Because,
Sure, yeah.
it's
No,
just-
it's really rough.
Yeah.
Like when you're like freshly clean and
Yeah.
like you're trying to like get your life together and
Yeah.
then you're like back in your old stomping grounds.
Mhm.
It can be a lot.
yeah.
I
so,
avoided it for a while.
Yeah.
I-
It's just one of those places that I grew up there, and then I moved to East County when I was 14.
Oh shit.
Yes,
That's a
so-
transition.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody when I
Yeah.
started high school, and so I was very like insecure and
Sure.
shy because I grew up with everybody I knew in Clairemont from age 5 going to kindergarten
Yeah.
till I was 13, and then my mom wanted to get a house, which is completely understandable. She was
Sure.
making like good enough money.
Decent
We
money.
don't want to live in like a tiny house anymore or an
Right.
apartment. So
Yeah, Claremont's probably a little
yeah,
pricey.
and it was pricey. Yeah, so we moved to East County
Yeah.
in Santee, and it was a lot, but I
Yeah.
ended up like liking it. But like
Really?
a lot of the kids there like smoke pot and drank. And stuff, and,
Sounds
like,
about right.
yeah,
Sounds
I mean-
like he's got to be.
yeah, the first time I smoked weed, I was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And like it was a couple times I tried it here and there with my friend Sarah, but then like we, you know, it wasn't anything like I got into when I was a freshman in high school because I was like, oh, everybody's doing it, so like I'm gonna do it, you know.
So it's the regular,
I can fit in. Yeah.
the regular thing.
Yeah, and then I became like a straight up pothead. You know?
I've been there.
Yeah.
You know, I actually just recently was remembering when I spoke really recently, and I was like, oh man, I remember everyone thought I was a stoner.
Yeah.
Like, cause it was a I went to Hilltop right down the street from here, and like everyone smoked, so they all just assumed I smoked too. And
You're
I'm like,
no.
I just look like this, but then I just like, oh fuck it, maybe I'll just try it, and then there we go, I'm a pothead now.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy how it just like turns out like that, you know.
Right.
Like, and then like, you know, the parties and stuff, people are drinking, and
Yeah.
I was so young, and like I'm still really tiny, you know what I mean? So like I would drink a lot and get like blacked out,
like, for sure,
fucked up.
Yeah, you're a pretty small person.
Yeah, so I was like, it was bad. I was like, you know, and then I was like 15. I'm going on party buses with like seniors in high school, and, you know, just getting blacked out drunk.
Wow.
Nothing bad happened because I was with like my girlfriends, but it's like it was
at least that
I embarrassed myself really bad. Like
for
I
sure.
remember puking on a party bus one time, and they threw me in the bathroom because like they don't want to get charged with me puking on the party bus.
Right,
Like,
they don't want to pay that fee.
Yes, and then I woke up the next morning just like thrashed and was like, what did I do? They're like, I don't even want to, girl, you were fucked up.
Yeah.
You know? Like I was just that bitch in high school, you know, and it was like, it was embarrassing.
A little bit of a mess.
Yeah, so, yeah, because like I just wanted to like fit in and have fun. So,
right.
But then like around when I hit like age 16, I like met my like high school sweetheart.
Oh, okay.
His name's Colden, and we like did this long distance thing. He was from Joshua Tree. Well, he's from San Diego, but he lived in Joshua Tree.
So you met him here?
I met him on Twitter actually. Because I'm like Gen Z.
Yeah, that sounds like a Gen Z thing to do.
So I met him on Twitter, but like we had a lot in common. So weird. Oh my god. I was like 16, met him on Twitter. And, yeah, we hit it off.
Okay.
And then he was like, "Oh, my grandparents live in San Diego. They actually live in Lakeside, and I live in Santee.
Right. That's
so
not bad. That's not that far.
Yeah. So, he drove down from Joshua Tree, and I remember that weekend very vividly. I took ecstasy for the first time. We went to a party and danced, and we drank, and it was really fun. And then, yeah, we just hit it off. So we were together for like pretty much the rest of high school.
Yeah.
For me, we went to my prom together, and and then we started like after I turned 18. Obviously, we were like going to college parties by then.
Yeah.
And, got into coke really bad, like pretty heavily. Yeah, because I was doing ecstasy, smoking weed. We were like smoking a lot of weed, drinking.
Yeah.
And then coke was just around. It was
everywhere,
you know? And
coke is kind of socially acceptable. Yeah.
But it's crazy because it's like a hard drug.
Oh, for sure. It's a fucking hardcore fucking drug.
And it's like highly addicting, you know what I mean? So it's like, I got into it really bad, and we ended up breaking up.
Oh, really?
And he got with a girl that I went to high school with.
Oh, no.
That I was actually friends with. So I was fucking pissed.
Dirtbag.
Yeah. And he was like, I thought he was like bluffing. I thought he was like straight up capping. He's like, oh, I'm talking to this blonde like nurse like that you went to high school with. And I was like,
what?
I'm like, who? Like, who is it? You know? And it turned out being a girl I was really good friends with. And so
what?
Yeah. And
so he was kind of like showing off about it?
Yeah. It was like what did you know? Like, what did I ever do to you?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Jerk,
and
dude.
he was the one that was always like Snapchatting other girls and like shit like that. So
so he was kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, he was. So I was glad it was over, but I also did some crazy ass shit, and I like, you know, I wanted to pour sugar in her gas tank.
You did? Nice. Got back at that bitch.
Yeah, and I egged her car. I poured.
You did?
Yes.
Wow.
I fucked her family's car up really bad, and I was really drunk when I did it with my friend Jalen at the time. And I guess her parents were watching me through the blinds. It was like 5 a.m, and I'm thinking we're being quiet, but I was drunk as fuck.
Yeah,
so I'm like
just
throwing eggs, they're just watching me, and so they get a hold of my mom because my mom and her family, her parents were friends because me and her were friends.
Right.
And they're like, you're lucky we're not going to press charges because we know Kendall and Sydney are close. And she tried telling them, like, well, Kendall's with Sydney's, like, ex-boyfriend that she was with for a while. So she's just upset, but thanks for not pressing charges.
Yeah, right.
So my parents kind of had to sit me down with me, my mom and my stepdad, and they're like, look, you're like 18 going on 19. You need to grow the fuck up.
Right.
Because they were like, what are you on? At that point, they started questioning me, like, what the fuck are you doing? Because they didn't know I was doing coke at that point, you know?
Sure.
And so I was like, oh, nothing, you know? Like, I'm just drinking and... It's, you know, and then I finally told my mom because she was like, I'm going to drug test you. And I was like, and I lived under her roof, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm doing coke, you know?
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, well, we're going to figure it out. And so I like kind of chilled out after that. And I started going to nursing school.
Oh, okay.
And I went to Brightwood College in, I don't know, I think it was like somewhere in San Diego, like Green Mesa area, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that was like supposed to be like a 6-month, 7-month program or something.
Sure.
And I got student loans for it and stuff. And then, I unfortunately got into like meth around that time.
Oh shit.
Just
you
boom.
upgraded.
Yeah. So coke wasn't like doing it for me anymore. You know? And
too much money for not enough high.
Yeah. And I was a bud tender. At a weed shop. I worked at Pizza Hut.
Oh, wow.
As a delivery driver, and I was going to nursing school. So I'm like, I got my shit together. Like,
I'm
a bad bitch.
Yeah,
you know,
you
like
are,
I'm 19.
for sure.
You know,
right,
like,
for
and
sure.
then just like I was saving up so much money, and like I was going to school and I was working, and then I would party on my free time. So I thought like I had the perfect life. I had it all together. I had my car, but I had friends that were doing meth, and so like good high school friends that I grew up with, and so they tricked me into trying it.
They tricked you. What did they say?
Like, well, so I wanted coke really bad, but I guess we couldn't get coke.
Yeah.
And my friend Dom was like, "Oh, I have this stuff that's like Molly and coke and like Xanax all mixed together," and it literally was.
That's how he sold it.
It was broken down meth, just crystal. Me being the dumbass, I've never seen meth before in my life, so I'm like, "Oh yeah, that looks that looks like." Fucking exactly what he's saying.
Yeah.
So I snort a couple lines and just blast off, dude. I'm like, my jaw's going. I can't stop talking.
Oh, you did?
Like,
You snorted it the first time?
Yeah, because I didn't know it was meth. You know, he wasn't gonna pull out a fucking pizzo and have me smoke it right there. You know,
that would have not looked that looked good. At first.
My friend Kayla looked over at me and she was like, "This is not MDMA.
No.
Like, this is meth." And I
this isn't cool party drugs.
No, she was
at
pissed.
raves.
No, she was pissed.
This is street meth here.
We were tweaking, dude. It was bad. So I ended up going home, and at that point, the birds are chirping. It's like the sun's coming up, and I have to go to nursing school in like 2 hours drive there, and I'm like, I'm just staring at myself in the mirror. My pupils are like huge, and I'm like, okay, well, I was like, I don't know why I did that, but for some reason, I wanted more of like that feeling. I felt like so super hooked right away. No shit. Yeah. And so, kept going to nurse school and stuff. I met one of my ex-boyfriends around that time.
At the school?
No, I met him on Instagram.
Instagram. No, we're moving from Twitter to go to Insta.
So funny, dude. It's just a classic love story. How did you meet your mom? Oh, I met her on Facebook. You know?
God.
It's
making me cringe because I've done this shit.
So I met him on Instagram, and he rode motorcycles, and I grew up around Harleys my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, I love bikes. I love Harleys.
Nice.
You know, I like street bikes too. And he's a stunt rider. You know, he knows how to pop wheelies and shit like that.
So you were kind of wild.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, you know. And our first date, he took me on. He picked me up on his little street bike and popped a wheelie on the freeway.
Oh shit!
I was like an adrenaline junkie at that time.
Wow,
You know?
with
and
you
like,
in the back.
Yes, yeah. And he's like, just hold on really tight. And so I did. Yeah, and he told me, because I told him I was like on and off drugs, and he was like, oh, well, he's like, I'm clean off heroin. So I was like, okay, well, I'm clean off meth, you know? And I had a really bad Xanax problem too, like, but it wasn't like how bad I was with like fentanyl and heroin. So,
okay. But
I
it
was
also
popping
was
pills, and stuff. But I was like a functioning addict at that point in my life. Like I was still working, I still had a job and everything, and I was still going to school. So I didn't think I needed to like sit down with my mom and be like, oh, because it was normal. Everybody around me was doing the same shit. They were getting fucked up, you know, and like it was just that time and
you were handling business at the time.
Exactly. So we got together and I was like reaching the end of my semester and about to graduate. I had to take a final and I remember hanging out at his apartment one night and he was like in the bathroom for like days. You know what I mean? Okay. But I didn't know the signs of like an opiate addict at that time, you know? So I'm
norm.
like, so I'm like, okay, maybe he's just sick. I don't know. And so he finally gets out of the bathroom and I pee really bad. So I go in there and there's like towels all over the floor and there's like black smeared on the bathroom counter. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Because I'd never like seen foil or anything like that. Right. And I lift up the blanket and there's just like foil with tar on it.
Shit.
Or not the underneath the towel and you know, like a tutor and all that stuff.
Right.
So it's just like, that's heroin. That looks like heroin.
Yeah, right. So, you never seen it before, but that looks like it could be heroin right there.
It smells like vinegar. I've heard it smells like vinegar.
It does.
Yeah. So, so I go out there and confront him, and I'm like, dude, you're doing drugs. Like, what's up? You know, and he's like, it's just a slip up, you know.
Okay,
like,
just slip up.
Yeah, and you know, but at that point, like, he looked like shit. You know what I mean? Like, he obviously was strung out, and so, but I was just oblivious to it because
for sure,
I was not like into drugs, like how I got into them in the future. So I was just like, whatever.
You weren't familiar with.
No, like I did like I did like meth like occasionally and ecstasy occasionally and Xanax like occasionally, but it wasn't like. But at that point in my life, it's like I have this problem where I get addicted to like men and being in relationships with them and doing drugs with them. You know what I mean?
That's
so like,
a thing.
Yeah, that's always been my issue. You know, and I've realized that doing step work with my sponsor, and so I ended up getting into heroin with him.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. So and I got on the needle like right away.
Oh shit! You jumped right on it.
Yeah, I did.
No,
because the foil just wasn't hitting for me like I wanted it to. Yeah, so
I've only smoked the foil like a dozen times. I hated it.
Yeah, and so I dropped out of nursing school. I didn't even finish. I didn't do my final or anything.
No way.
I showed up to do it and I left because I wanted to get high.
You looked at the paper like, fuck
no,
this.
I didn't study or anything. I was doing heroin the whole time I was supposed to be getting prepared for this final.
For this final.
Yeah, and so I left and it sucks because like my mom's still helping me pay off my student loans for it and stuff. And like I could poor Vanessa. I could have done it, but it's like I just got too swept up in the whole like I want to get high thing. So
that happens.
I ended up getting in a fight with my mom and like packed a little bag and was like, I'm not living with you anymore. Like I'm out of here, because she was like, get your shit together, you know, like what is going, because she at that point she still didn't know like what I was doing, but at that point I looked like shit. You could tell I was on drugs. She thought I was smoking crack. That's what she told me.
Hey, I don't smoke crack.
She's like, I thought you were on crack, and I was like, no, actually I was on meth. So
meth. It's meth, okay. Meth and heroin.
Yeah,
it's not crack.
So
get it right.
Yeah. So I ended up moving in with Mikey at the time, and he had like a couple other friends that did fentanyl and meth and heroin. I wasn't into fentanyl. I didn't know what fentanyl was. I remember hitting the foil once that had Fetty on it when I had just gotten into heroin, and we were in a Carl's Jr. drive-thru, and I puked all over the drive-thru. Like I opened the truck and just puked. He told me too. He warned me. He's like, that shit's gonna fuck you up. You're gonna get really sick because you're not used to like that much opiates in your body. And I was like, no, I'm doing it. I got this. I want to do it.
This. Yeah.
I got so sick. It's crazy. And so, so fast forward. Staying with him. On the needle, on heroin and meth. I was like in and out of Clairemont, La Jolla, staying like in hotels with him and his friends and just getting loaded. One of his buddies, I'm not going to say his name because, but he used to do like shit on the black market, like on his computer. You know, he had one of those laptops that like could like, it was like he could hack into people's debit cards and credit card informations and shit. Yeah, and like get us hotel rooms or order us DoorDash or whatever the fuck we wanted. Yeah.
Oh no way.
Yeah,
so
like
it's a
fraud.
special laptop.
Yeah, like fraud, like for the dark web and shit.
No,
like
fuck
he's
you,
just doing gnarly shit coding on there, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you know,
that shit happened to me where motherfuckers be getting into my bank account and charging me.
And it's fucked up. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I go to my bank and they refund me.
Yeah, of course they do.
But still,
somebody
like,
doing that to somebody is just, and he's clean now actually, which is really cool because you know I remember he didn't have any veins at the time, and he asked me if I could find a vein in between his toes.
Oh, nice.
Him. And he was shooting up fentanyl, and I went to nursing school, so I was like, oh, I'm actually really good with phlebotomy and needles. And I was, and I actually got it like on the first hit. So I was like, I hit in between his toes, and you're not even supposed to go below your knees when you're shooting up. You know what I mean? So
that's a terrible idea.
Exactly.
Right? But it happens.
Yeah, but he got well, so he was stoked.
It's literally like the prep like of those, you know, like those movies where like they get these gnarly abscesses and then they have to just chop off their fucking limbs because they fucked up.
Yeah, it's just
that's
fucking...
What that does when you shoot up below your knees.
Exactly. So PSA, don't do that,
don't
you guys.
Don't do it.
And so fast forward, it was about, I think it was November of like 2018. I was 19 years old. I had already gotten a DUI at this point. I lost my license, dropped out of nursing school, lost my jobs, completely pretty much strung out at this point. And so I told my mom, I was like, I want to go up and visit my dad in Oregon for Thanksgiving. And I have a little sister and little brother up there. They're my half brother and sister. And my stepmom and my great grandpa, who was alive at the time, lived up there. I had visited my dad pretty much from age like 6 to 17 every summer, winter break, because my parents got divorced when I was 3. So I was like already used to it. But I wanted to get off drugs. So I quit cold turkey. And nobody explained to me that you get sick or anything. So I really felt like I didn't go through it like that, even though like I was on the needle for a little bit and stuff. I didn't get like super sick. You know what I mean? I didn't. So maybe I just wasn't doing it as like hardcore as like I thought I was, because you know, when I would get my shots ready, it was like a little pinch of like heroin and then a big rock of crystal, because I wanted to make sure I didn't like overdose.
So you were doing more ups than
downers.
Down. I got it.
I like didn't realize that. Because now I'm like, oh yeah, I love downers. I'm a total fucking opiate fiend, you know. But I used to love uppers. It made me like social, didn't have anxiety and stuff like that. But now like, I fucking hate coke. I hate meth. I mean, I'm sober. I'm clean. I'm, you know. So I couldn't even imagine doing uppers. You know what I mean? Like I have such bad crippling social anxiety. You know what I mean? So it's like,
but I understand like you're. Because I kind of went through a similar thing, because coke was like my first drug of choice that I really liked. And then like once I got introduced in heroin and I got really into heroin, like my brain chemistry completely changed. And
exactly.
It's like, it's never
and you
the
didn't
same.
want like the upper anymore. No. Like you wanted to like be down all the time, you know?
Even like, even weed. Even weed, like
that completely left my drug circle once I got into hard drugs. Like weed was not, you know.
Yeah, it was like, whatever.
You know? Like,
you could literally offer it to me. I'm like, I guess I'll take it.
Yeah, I want some fucking heroin.
Give me the black. Give me the black. Yeah, no, it's weird how that happens. I don't know if that's like part of the deal with being an opiate addict. But yeah, it's so crazy that happened, because I always thought like growing up, oh yeah, I'm gonna smoke weed forever. But then I'm just like, nope.
No, it's just not in the regimen anymore.
Nope, it's not. It's out.
It's completely out.
So you were able to kick then on the streets, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, so I hopped on a plane and flew up to Oregon. And so my my dad didn't know that I was on heroin or meth or anything.
Yeah.
By that time, like, I'd quit doing the meth. I was like a week off meth by the time I got on the plane. So I was looking healthier, you know?
Sure.
It was a pretty drastic change, honestly, from
I'm sure.
like sleeping and eating for a week compared to not for like a couple months. You know what I mean? So,
You're looking healthy and stuff.
Yeah. So my dad didn't really notice anything and spent Thanksgiving there. Ended up staying there. So
really?
Yes. So I just was like, if I go back down there, I'm gonna fucking get high. You know what I mean? And so I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going back home.
So you already kind of
I just made the decision like last minute, like while I was visiting my dad up there, that like maybe it's just best I don't go back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my mom was really sad because she expected me to come back home, but I was like, I was 19 and I could pretty much do whatever the fuck I wanted. So I was like, and I didn't even tell my dad either about wanting to stay. I just kind of just stayed, and then he's like,
"What are you doing here still?"
he's like, "You're living here now?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Staying, you know, so.
Thanks for the warning.
Yeah.
Wow. So you did a geographical.
Yeah. It's just like, and it's crazy because now when I got clean this last time, I had to completely like switch it around and leave Oregon and come back here to get clean, you know? But it worked.
Oregon is...
It's gnarly up there. Okay,
I know.
So I lived up there for 7 years, right? Grants Pass, Oregon.
What part of Oregon?
It's southern Oregon, so it's like 4 hours from Portland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so pretty much I was clean for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I mean clean off hard drugs. I smoked weed. I did acid. I did mushrooms. I didn't work a program. I didn't have a sponsor. None of that stuff. Like I just kind of just did it, you know, but there's a lot of hippies up there that like weed and like, you know, they go to festivals and stuff like that. Sure. So I got into that group really heavy. I got into ketamine like really heavy. They call it hippie heroin up there. And like, I love that. So I'm like, dude, I'm not on heroin anymore, but I'm fucking on ketamine. Like, you know, I'm doing so much better.
So much better.
And I was working on a pot farm. I became like a gnarly pothead again. But the scenery up there is so gorgeous. Like we'd go to the river every weekend and like drop L, and like you know, we go to the coast where they like Astoria where they film the Goonies and drop L and mushrooms and like just it was like a crazy experience because it's so fucking pretty up there. The weather's so nice.
So for sure.
It made me happy that like I could like do like drugs like normal, quote unquote normal. And like didn't feel the need to want to do heroin or anything. And then, so things were going good, working, had a good relationship with my family, my dad and everything.
What did you do for work over there?
I grew pot.
Okay.
On a legal pot farm. It was like a women's owned pot farm. And we would harvest it, trim it. I got paid $25 an hour up there.
That's not bad.
Working 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Oh, fuck,
I had to set up. Like, that's was ultimate cool good job, you know? And, and
I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty fucking cool job.
Yeah, especially, I wasn't working a program or anything, so I didn't have anybody to shame me and be like, oh, you can't work at a pot farm when you're clean, you know what I mean? So I was just doing my own thing. And I'm really glad I had that experience in my life because, like, I was in my early 20s at that point. Like, so it's like I feel like I got to experience, like, being an actual, like, 20-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't on the needle or anything at that time. And I went to Washington for, what is it, the Gorge? Like, it's this gorgeous fucking huge, like, canyon. And they have Base Canyon there every summer, and it's like this giant fucking rave. Excision puts it on, and so I'll show you a picture.
Yeah, show me. That sounds really rad.
It was sick, and we got a camping pass and everything. So like I got to do all this cool shit in my early 20s while I wasn't on heroin, and so like I was happy, you know.
Oh yeah, because you got your, I could see it, like you felt like you got robbed.
Of my like younger,
you know, the experience of being young and careless and stuff like that.
So this is the Gorge, and you can like swipe if you want. It is so gorgeous. God damn,
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
And this is a festival?
Yeah, they put it on. They do a couple different ones. They do Beyond Wonderland there.
That's so cool.
Base Canyon.
I never got a chance to experience any of that stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
That's all good.
I'm sorry.
That's all good.
Those kind of people, like, they call them looks, you know what I mean? Like, some of them are just I don't know. A lot of the people I met in the rave scene were very wholesome and very sweet. And I'm glad I got to experience like that whole different side of me. But then afterwards, I kind of like started to separate from like all the like rave and hippie friends that I had, which we were really close at that point. I was like 3 years in with them, and we were like a little family. We did everything together. But I felt that need again to like, you know, because I was like doing a lot of ketamine, I was doing a lot of whippets, I was doing a lot of that, and it wasn't enough again, you know what I mean, for me, like so
even with this new lifestyle,
it just wasn't enough for me. So I met this guy Aaron, who I wouldn't call my ex-boyfriend, but he was more of like hooking up occasionally type of person.
I see.
He had gotten out of prison. He was in prison for 2 years for selling heroin.
Oh, okay.
Distributing, selling heroin.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at the time, but he told me once again. I met another guy that told me, "Oh, I'm clean." You know.
Oh, sure.
Like,
yeah.
Fucking time, dude.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate trap, ladies. If they tell you they're clean, they're not. Run.
Run away.
Run the other way. So I'm like, oh yeah, like I was clean too, you know. Like,
for sure.
I am, you know. And so for some reason, I think I got really drunk and I went to go get a tattoo done because I have a lot of tattoos. And my tattoo artist did meth, but I wasn't doing it, you know. I was just drinking and smoking. And he's like, "Oh, you want to hit this?" And I was like, "Fuck it, I'm drunk. I'm getting a tattoo." And boom, hit the pookie. And next thing I know, I'm like tweaking pretty bad. And the same night, I drive over to Aaron's and I started crying because I was like, "Dude, I've been clean for like 2.5 years, and I'm really disappointed and sad in myself." And he's like, "Well." He's like, "You're not the only one that fucked up," and he pulls out foil and has fucking heroin on me. Like,
that was his opportunity.
Yep. I just looked over.
Fucking asshole.
Well, yeah, he was. He is. If you're listening to this, you are a fucking dick.
Yeah,
We're getting a girl loaded after she's been clean for a while. Straight up. So,
what a piece of shit.
I know, dude. And it's like, I don't understand. They're just, I think it's some weird insecurity. Yeah. The guys just. And I know girls do it to men too.
Sure.
Know, so it can be always the other way around. But
it could.
Yeah, but it just.
But usually
somebody that's vulnerable and like, you know, cute and you know, and has a problem. Yeah, exactly. So
they see a weakness. Yes. They fucking strike it.
Yes, like a fucking cobra, dude. Like a fucking viper. Like, yeah. So I looked at it and was like, all right, I'm gonna hit that, you know, like I'm gonna hit that foil, and I did, and I guess I like just a tear just like rolled down my face slowly because it's just so dramatic. One tear. I was just so disappointed in myself. One tear, and he just looks at me and he's like, "I've never seen somebody cry while they're smoking heroin before." I was like, "Sorry," you know, it was fucking hilarious, dude. He's like, "Don't do that. Don't do that."
No, don't cry.
Yeah. Like, you chose to do this.
It's killing my heart, man.
Pretty much. I was just, and looking back at that now, that shit is so funny to me because it's like, just who says that? You know what I mean? Right. And who does that? You know what I mean? So at that point, I got back into it pretty heavy for like about 4 or 5 months. Just smoking it on foil. I wasn't back on the needle. And I was sitting on a good amount of money. The stimulus checks we got
I remember
around that time, and then
big money.
And then a tax return I got from working on the pot farm. So I had about like 6 or 7 grand, and that's a lot of money at 20. I think it's 22. That was like 22? A lot for me. And I had roommates and stuff, so rent wasn't too expensive up in Oregon. I think I was paying like $500 for my room.
Fuck, that must be nice,
including all utilities.
Fuck, that must be nice.
I wish I could go back onto the drug part, but the having that apartment space for only $500 a month is nice. So so I called my mom, I think, around that time, and I had gotten just sick of it again, you know. And the amount of times I've called my poor mom and been like, "Oh, I'm strung out again," you know, and she's just like, you know, and she has friends that are in recovery, so like she has asked them for advice on like what to do with her daughter. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, how do I help her? You know?
Right.
But she has never been an addict herself. I mean, my mom's like kind of a normie. She can drink and do her thing and
absolutely.
be, she's a boss ass bitch. She, goes to work and drives a brand new Acura and like has 2 Harleys and a house.
Damn.
Like, that's my role model.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, mom.
Fuck yeah, mom. So, I called her and was like, I'm back on heroin, and she was like, okay, well, looks like I'm going to have to come up there and take you to rehab, And so she told my dad and stuff, and we all like got together for dinner at Texas Roadhouse. My mom came up and got a hotel room. She flew up and I went and I did it, and it made me really happy because it's like my parents came together after being separated, and my stepmom was like super cool with my mom. It was just cool. They were all being cordial for me.
Very supportive.
Yeah, and so my dad, I remember we were sitting down at dinner, and my dad was like, "I'm actually really proud of you," because my dad's an alcoholic, so my dad knows like what it is. Yeah, he does. It's not as bad as like heroin. I think alcoholism is as bad as heroin, but like to him, heroin is like the devil compared to him drinking. You know what I mean? So it's like
because the bottoms are a little more like different or a little more severe.
Yeah, my dad's like a functioning alcoholic. He has his own HVAC company and stuff, but the poor guy has to take like 3 double shots in the morning, otherwise he'll get the shakes and the shits, and you know what I mean. He'll get really sick. So it
all the symptoms.
Yeah, so. He was like, if you stay clean, I'll let you move into this apartment on my property in Oregon. And so I was like, fuck yeah, because it was like a brand new 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom built apartment studio thing. And like, I was like, that could be mine. Like, yeah,
sure.
So I went to rehab for 90 days. Completed it and came back home. And I was doing good. I got a job at a dispensary because this is Oregon. There's weed everywhere. You know what I mean?
I know. I'm pretty familiar with Oregon. My best friend actually lived there before he died.
Oh, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, he lives in Corvallis.
Well, that's not too far from Grants Pass, so
yeah.
So I got a job at a dispensary, but wasn't smoking weed, and I was fully honest with my employers that I was in recovery and that I wouldn't be doing anything. Like I was like, I'm not going out after work to have beers with you guys. I don't get me free samples of anything. I don't do anything. Like I'm staying clean, And they were totally nice about it and respectable about it. One of my coworkers, Tanner, he was in recovery too. He was an opiate addict as well and was clean. So we got along super well. And I ended up, going down like about 4 months later, my 2 best friends from high school, Owen and Haley, they overdosed on fentanyl, cocaine toxicity, fentanyl overdose. Yeah. Owen died right away. He overdosed in the bathroom because they were together as a couple, and Haley was in the hospital for a week on life support.
Oh God!
And she died. Yeah, she ended up. Her mom had to pull like the plug on her. Yeah. And I love Haley's mom. She's so sweet and supportive of my recovery because she lost her daughter to addiction. So I didn't like, even though I took like a grieving course in rehab, it just didn't help like me. I got really sad because these were like, we were like a little squad in high school. Like I knew me and Haley were both like, I was in recovery and Haley was using. So she would call me all the time before she passed away, and we would like have really long talks about trying to help her get clean. I would look up rehabs, detoxes for her, like everything to try to help her, but she just wasn't ready. Yeah. And so it really fucked with me, and I got really upset, and I ended up hitting up Brandon, who is a really big aspect in my life story. Yeah. He is the person that I was with last, pretty much, my ex-boyfriend. Well, that's like fiance kind of. Shit. I hit him up and was like, hey, do you have any like drugs? Like, because he was a heroin addict. He's like, I have blues. This is right around the time frame when heroin like was starting to go out, and fentanyl was coming in, and so I was like, yeah, I'll take some blues. So I relapsed, still at that point, I was going to meetings, but didn't have a sponsor, wasn't working my steps. So obviously I relapsed, you know?
Right.
And so.
And you were in Oregon still?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
And my dad didn't know I relapsed. I kind of kept it a secret.
Try.
And then Brandon and I got really codependent on one another. The first time he came over, he brought over a ball of heroin. He knew I had just gotten out of rehab and that I was like barely 4 months clean.
Right.
But like I would cry to him about Owen and Haley and just like, you know, it's just my shoulder to cry on pretty much.
Right.
We got in a really bad fight when we first got together. He tried to leave my house, my apartment, and walk down my really long driveway because I guess I was really loaded from hitting the foil, and he like was staring at me, and he just like felt bad, I guess, because he got me strung out again.
I see.
And like he even told me before we got together that like he didn't want to like do that, you know what I mean? And like he was like, if you get with me, you're gonna get I'm gonna turn you the fuck out, you know what I mean? Because he was really bad. Like he was on the needle, just a full-blown tweaker and a fucking junkie. Right. And so I was like, no, like I like you, I want to be with you. Like, I don't care that you're you know, strung out. Like fuck it, let's get strung out, you know what I mean? And so I drove down the road in my car. I'd had a Nissan Rogue at the time, and I'm like, get in the fucking car, like you're not leaving me. You know, I was just super codependent on him.
A little bit, just
but
a
I'm
little.
like, he also has the bag, so I need
oh
that.
well, that's important.
I'm coming out to you. So I made him get in my car, and things just progress and get worse and worse. He started putting his hands on me.
Oh, God.
And
really?
My dad knew, because I'd have, like, black eyes here and there, and, you know, just kind of I started looking really bad. You know, I was doing, like, really strong fentanyl at that time, and a lot of meth. I told Brandon, the first time before he gave me meth again, I was like, I am not a good tweaker. I get very paranoid. I will think shit's there that's not. I will hear things that are there that's not. And you're not going to want to deal with me. And he's like, you know, he's trying to get it on. So he's like, oh, yeah, just hit the pipe. You know what I mean?
Whatever happens.
And so I'm like, this is fucking your, you know, this is your fuck up then.
Next thing
I
fault.
know, I was getting into like meth psychosis, super gnarly. I remember sitting at dinner with my dad. I still lived at my dad's at that point. Brandon got kicked out of my apartment. My dad was like, he cannot live here anymore. He has to go. He's putting hands on you, and you look bad. Like, I don't know what's going on. But Brandon wanted to work for my dad for his HVAC company. So my dad ran a background check on Brandon to quote unquote hire him. And my dad walks up to me and he's like, what the fuck are you doing with this kid? Because Brandon was like a hardcore fucking felon, you know, had like assault on police officers, you know, selling
not
heroin.
A good first impression.
No, and
not at all.
No, it was he had like over like 30 felonies on his record. And my dad's like, yeah, nice, you know? So
not hiring him.
No, and he's like,
sorry,
don't want him living here with my daughter either, you know.
That
and so
too.
He kicked him out, and I remember sitting across the table from my dad at dinner. My siblings are sitting on the side of me. My stepmom's in the kitchen. My dad looks at me and he's like, are you on drugs? He just asked me like flat out, and I was so taken back by that. I like almost choked on my fucking chicken. Dude. I was like, no. I was obviously on drugs, you know. So
probably why he just dropped the ball like that.
Yeah. So I'm just like, no, just avoiding it, you know.
Yeah.
They knew. My dad knew.
For sure.
He talked to my mom and was like, I think she's on drugs again, you know.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I had an opportunity to get a really good job as it was like an esthetician office, which is my like dream career.
Oh yeah.
Always has been. I just filled out a financial aid thing to go to esthetician school. Yeah. Like recently, so I was like, oh, this will be my perfect opportunity to get my foot in the door. But I was still using, so I was like, fuck, like I'm gonna have to figure out how to fucking balance this shit, you know? But I had to go to like Roseburg, which is like an hour away to work. So like I would have, it was chaotic. So I would pack my overnight bag and stuff in my car. Yeah. Was barely at my apartment anymore because I was still with Brandon. Yeah. Go to town, pick up Brandon. We'd sleep in the back of my car. Yeah. Because we were still getting high. And he was homeless. He didn't have anywhere to go. And So I was like helping him out, letting him sleep in my car. I was sleeping with him, and then I would drive up to Roseburg. He would come with me, stay in my car while I was at work with the AC on, whatever. I'd come out, we'd get high, drive back down to Grants Pass, just do it all over again until I was nodding off in the office at work, and they fired me because I was clearly fucking
fucked
like
up.
loaded. Yeah, I was really loaded. And so Brandon wasn't with me that time, and I just was super depressed. So I just like I got in my car and like just kept smoking, and I passed out in my car with the AC off, and it was like summer in Oregon. So it's like 102 outside, and I woke up with my windows up, just like pouring sweat. I had scrubs on too, you know, so like I was and I guess like
it's like people, a little sauna for you.
Yeah, I guess people called the cops, and they like the EMT and the like firefighters trying to roll my window down. I wake up to like all of this going on, and all I do is look both ways, turn on my car, and just pull out, back up, and just take off. And everybody's in the parking lot like, what the fuck, you know? But I didn't live in Roseburg at the time, so like that was like the Roseburg Police Department and stuff. So I drove my ass back down to Grants Pass. And so at that point, that was like the last job that I had that before like I really got into shit really hard. And so let's see. So after that, I decided, you know, I don't want to live at my dad's anymore. I'm getting high, and it's obvious. And so I moved in with my fentanyl plug.
That's always a great idea.
Yeah, super great idea. She was a female, which was cool to me.
Right.
And she was really good friends with Brandon. So, but she was batshit fucking crazy. Like this girl would stand. Yeah, this girl would stand in the mirror and pick at her face for fucking hours in her bathroom. God. She had like full blown crater face. You know.
Yeah.
And so, it just was gnarly. She had a daughter too and a son, and you know, she like tried to be a good mom, but she was really strung out. So,
yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we lived with her for a couple months, and we would take trips down to Bakersfield to pick up fentanyl.
Really?
Yeah.
All the way down there?
I would drive her car. We would take my car, actually, my Nissan Rogue, because it was registered in my name.
Okay.
Good tags, all that shit, and it was very discreet looking. I never got pulled over in it, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, let's take your car. She also had a Nissan Rogue, like a black one, but she just, of course, she wanted to take mine. You know?
Yours, of course, you would.
Yeah. So we took mine, and we would like pop the mirror top off. I had like this big LED mirror. We would pop that off. It was hollow on the inside, and we put the ounces of fentanyl inside there, and then bring it back up.
Right.
And this is fucked up. I mean, she was a fentanyl dealer. You know, you shouldn't be associating with these kind of people because they're killing people.
Absolutely.
But I just, you know, I wanted drugs, and she had them. And she had a house for me to stay in. So and I paid her rent. My mom helped me pay rent to live there.
Shit.
But really? she knew, I think, that I was strung out. But I remember her texting me and being like, I don't want you to be homeless on the streets, like with nowhere to go. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, and my mom has even said, like, I've enabled you in your addiction, you know what I mean? And so that just like broke my heart, because it was like, I've like really, I just put her in this position where like, cause I'm her only daughter, you know what I mean? So like put her in this position where she like, I made her feel like she needs to do these things for me, but it's like, eventually she didn't, you know, and that's what I needed to fucking like hit complete rock bottom, was her not helping me, you know? So, me and Allie, the girl I lived with, got into it, and I ended up, Brandon was in and out of jail a lot too, because he was a felon on parole.
Multiple felonies.
Yes, and wasn't checking in with his PO sometimes, or would get caught driving, which he wasn't supposed to be doing, and would just in and out of jail. Probably like half of our relationship, which was like 3.5 years, was spent in jail for him. So I moved into like this trap house, Becky's house, it was kind of out in the sticks a little bit, like off Redwood Highway. And Becky did fentanyl too. That's the only places we could live, was people that did drugs too. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of a mutual, you know, and we cleaned out she had this like not a storage room, it was a regular room, just full of fucking tools and junk. And so Brandon and I just like fucking did a fat shot of white and just cleaned that whole fucking room out, you know, deep cleaned it. And I was like,
their services.
Yeah, I was like, we're moving in here to this room. And she was like, okay, you know, like, you guys can pay like $200 a month to live here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, cool. But it was like just little rundown fucking trailer with like holes in the ceiling and shit. You know what I mean? There was rats in there. It was disgusting. Dude.
Yeah.
It was probably the lowest of the lows, like for me, where I'd ever lived before I hit the streets. So we lived there for a couple months.
Right.
Brandon's putting his hands on me, and he was putting his hands on me like pretty much throughout this whole entire timeline of when I got with him. But I couldn't leave him because when I was codependent on him, I thought I was in love with him. You know, we were doing drugs. Like, I can't leave him. Like, I'll have nobody. Your trauma buddy. Yeah, we were definitely had a gnarly trauma bond with each other. And so we just, shit was not good. He was always going over to Allie's, and they had like a thing before me and him got together. So and I was on meth and fentanyl, like gnarly. I was on the needle again, and I was thinking in my head like, oh, he's cheating on me, you know, like that's why he's over there. But I don't think he was. I think he was just getting us dope, you know what I mean? But who knows? I still to this day don't know if he really cheated on me or not. I don't even care.
One of life's great mysteries, right?
And it always will be. So, you know, I'm just like, I just, at one point, I was just like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Like, I was so lost and just gone. I wasn't even, like, myself anymore. Yeah. And so, when you're friends with people that do drugs, for some reason, you're always going to get into a gnarly-ass fight with them. They're going to kick you out over some fucking stupid shit. Like, you stole this, you went through this, da-da-da-da. It turns out, while I was over at Allie's house, like, cleaning her house to get dope. Yeah. If you know, you know. Cleaning the plug's house to get some dope, you know? Yep. Yeah. So,
been there.
Yeah. So, it's like, oh, you got a nice place here, you know? Like trying to warm them up, butter them up to get more in your sack. But,
yeah.
But, I show back up at my house, and Becky, I guess, broke. I had a bolt lock and everything on that door because there were tweakers in and out of that place. I didn't want anybody going through my shit. Right. She fucking busted my door down and went through everything. She stole a bunch of stuff, put my stuff on the fucking patio. But at this point, I was used to it because that's what fucking people on drugs do.
Right.
You know what I mean, they steal, they go through your shit.
Right.
Like, they pilt. That's what it's called, pilting. Yeah, they pilt the fuck out of your shit. Yeah. And so, I was just like, oh
just
my
another
God.
day.
Like, I was like, I can't. Like, whatever. And so Brandon was in jail. I had his truck. I had to learn how to drive stick at this point. This is like a jacked up lifted Nissan manual. Yeah. It's like a 87. Just a super old truck. But I learned how to drive stick in it, which was badass. So thank God I had his truck. So I was pretty much staying in the truck after Becky kicked me out because we didn't see eye to eye. And picked Brandon up when he got out of jail. I was like staying in the park in the truck here and there. Eventually the clutch got burnt out. Brandon was back in jail. And my great cousin Perry had to come pick me up on the side of the highway. It was summer. I was twacked out. Yeah. And Perry had never seen me like at this stage of my life like this, and so he let me keep the truck on his property, but and he let me take a shower too because I remind you I was homeless, sleeping in the truck. Like I hadn't showered in probably like a week and a half, just completely strung out. And so we sat down and he's like, your dad's really worried about you, like you haven't talked to your dad, and he's like, we know like what you're going through, like you need to get help. And I was like, I know, I'm just not ready to yet. I want to keep living like this. This is my option. Yeah. So I want to get high. And so he just, he's like, well, when you're ready, we're here. Like your family's here for you. And so he let me keep the truck there. I was like in and out of going back and forth there. He let me sleep in the truck on the property. Yeah. To like the guy I was talking about, Tanner, that I worked at the dispensary with, that was clean. He relapsed as well and had this house like down the road from my from Perry's house. So I would go over to Tanner's and get loaded. We get loaded together and stuff. And it was just crazy because we were both from San Diego as well. We had a lot in common. And Brandon was super jealous of him because, he was like, oh, while I was in jail, you hooked up with him, didn't you?
Right.
I never did, actually. I mean, I could have, but I didn't. And so I could have, but I didn't.
Right.
So, I think that was probably like about 2.5 years into my addiction. So anyways, the truck is broke down, clutch is burnt out, didn't have anywhere to live, pretty much living out of my my little duffel bag, and getting my stuff stolen every other day. Like, how it is. If you have been on the street and you've lived in stayed on the couches of trap houses, your shit's gonna get going through.
It is.
I didn't have a birth certificate at that point. I didn't have an ID. Nothing. I didn't have a debit card, bank account, nothing. I had multiple different phones, like, throughout that whole time period that I couldn't keep because they kept getting stolen.
Right.
My mom couldn't get a hold of me, and it was bad. So, I'm on the streets. At this point, the only thing I cared about was doing fentanyl and meth and nothing else. Brandon and I's relationship was just going even further and further down. At this point, we're like running from cops, like constantly, because he has a warrant out for putting his hands on me. I just was so fucking over it. You know what I mean? Sometimes we stay out in the sticks with super sketchy people, like bikers and shit, that were just sketchy. I've had some crazy situations happen. I've been handcuffed, put in the back of a van. I've had a gun held to my head. I've been like chased down by some really fucking scary people, like in the backwoods of Oregon, people you don't want to fuck with, that you don't do business with. You know what I mean?
Right. Sounds like The Deliverance.
Yeah, it was really scary. It was really fucking scary. At one point, when I first got clean, my mom and I looked at each other, and she's like, "If I left you up there, you would have died." Like, straight up, And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So, Brandon gets it's about May of last year, 2024, and Brandon gets arrested. I was sleeping on a bathroom floor of my friend's house in a Xanax coma. Xanny coma, yeah. And I woke up, and my friend Mike, it was his house, his girlfriend's there, and he's like, "I left Brandon at the dude's house we were robbing, and I think he got arrested." And I'm like, and then I just didn't even care at that point. I was like, because at that point I told Brandon, I'm leaving. I'm gonna go get clean, and my mom's gonna come up and get me, or I'm gonna take a train down there. Like, I'm leaving you. You have a felony warrant out for your arrest. Like, you're going to prison, whether you like it or not. Right. Eventually. So I gotta go figure my shit out. And that like made him go crazy, like me wanting to leave him, So he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna fucking." So he took some Xanax while I was passed out, and went and fucking got like 3 new assault charges, like 12 new felony charges. Yeah.
Wow. What a great way to solve your problems.
Yeah. He's like, he's one of those individuals that's like super institutionalized. That's all he's used to being, is incarcerated. Sure. So that's just like, that's his go-to when he has nowhere to go. He's like, "I'll go to jail, there's a bed and food there."
Yeah, right. 3 hots in the cot.
It's crazy, So I just I woke up, and Brandon's mom texted me and was like, "Oh, did you see the article? Like, he was on the news and stuff."
Nice.
Yeah, made the news. Not the first time either. So my mom helped me get an iPhone up there, and I'm really grateful for Mike and Megan letting me stay with them, because they had a nice little apartment, and pretty much the last 2 weeks of me being in Oregon, getting ready to leave, they let me stay with them. So my mom could, my mom would message them if she couldn't get a hold of me and stuff. She always knew where I was at that point, because she was about to drive 13 hours up to come get me from Oregon. So she was like, "I need to know like where she's at." And I was just ready. So I got some really good shit, and bought like a giant bottle of methadone, and my mom pulled up to get me. Yeah, because I was not gonna get sick on this road trip. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I was like, and she knew, I was honest with her about it. And so, we got in the car, drove back down, said bye to whoever. Right. And nobody believed me. Nobody thought I was actually gonna fucking
really?
leave.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
that's
They're
usually
like,
how it goes.
yeah, and
Yeah, she'll be back.
Yeah, she'll be back. You know.
How it goes.
And I didn't come back. And detox was fucking rough. Let me tell you. I went to Kiva detox, and the only thing they give you is Tylenol and ibuprofen. I wanted to die, dude. Like I was on fentanyl for about 4.5 years, and never stopped or took a break between that point. So I got really sick, you know.
Oh, fuck.
And I couldn't take Suboxone for 4 or 5 days. Yeah, because you'll go into precipitated withdrawal.
So you got to wait 4 or 5 days, not 24 hours? Oh, fuck, dude.
Because it's different than heroin. Like heroin, 24 hours, it's fine.
It gets out of your system. You're right. You're
quicker.
You're
Fentanyl stores in your fat cells, so it takes longer to get out. And
it's why it stays when you UA. It takes fucking
forever to get out. Yeah, and so also, precipitated withdrawals are not fun. I've taken Suboxone too early before.
Oh, for sure. I've done the same thing.
You fucking get super sick, shit yourself, headache, fucking just sweats.
Instant withdrawals.
Gnarly, instant. It sucks, you know?
Yeah.
And so, it was like 4 days in, and I could either stay there for a week or 2 weeks. And they're like, oh, you should take your Suboxone. And I was like, no, I don't want to take it. Like, I really don't want to get even worse withdrawals than I'm already getting right now, you know?
Right.
And so I waited one more day and took it, and I got the gnarliest headache, but I wasn't like sick.
Oh, okay.
But I still wasn't feeling A1. You know, and everybody was texting me, cheering me on because I posted on Facebook, like, I'm coming home and I'm getting fucking clean. And people were trying to call me, get a hold of me. And I was so sick, I couldn't even pick up my phone.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't take a shower. My roommates that were in detox with me had to pick me up and put me in the bathtub and like help me shower.
That's awesome.
And they had to make my bed for me. I was so weak, you know what I mean? Like I didn't eat. I was probably about like 99 pounds when I got to detox. Yeah, just like I could probably like snap in half, you know what I mean? It's so fragile.
Right.
And so they were just like, this fucking girl needs help, dude. Like, cause I had ran myself into the fucking ground at that point. Like it was bad. And so I'm very grateful for the girls I was in detox with because they helped me, you know, and
that's awesome.
so about a week and a half after I was ready to leave, I was clean, you know, had a week and a half under my belt. I was on Suboxone, and so I decided to go to Crash.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Tough one.
Yeah. It only lasted 2 days.
Oh. That's not bad. That's double of the average.
Yeah, right. It's a gnarly program though. You know, it's a behavioral modification program.
Yeah, I know. I was there in 2012.
Yeah, so
for 93 days. I counted the days.
Are you serious? 93 days. So you graduated from there?
I did not.
They keep you there for like 100 something, right?
Yeah. They'll let you out in 90 days if you have a job and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I did not have a job, so I went to court, and I'm from here, Chula Vista. So South Bay, I went to the South Bay courthouse, and then they said I was good to go after 93 days. Yeah. So Crash didn't technically complete me. I just fucking left.
I've heard they've done that to a bunch of people before. Yeah. Everybody that I know that's gone to Crash is the same shit. You know what I mean? So after Crash, I was like, my mom was like, okay, well, you didn't come all this way and go through all of that to fucking leave a program. You're going to a program whether you fucking like it or not because this is what you wanted. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, fine. So I ended up going to Crossroads.
Oh, okay.
And Crossroads was cool. It was way more lax than Crash.
I'm sure it was. It wasn't as bad.
And it was super nice. It was in Hillcrest. And, you know, because Crash, you can't wear makeup, nail polish, shorts, any of that stuff.
Nope.
Crossroads, they don't really give a fuck. I mean, you can't wear like booty shorts and shit like that. But you can wear shorts and makeup and do your nails and stuff. And I still wanted to be feminine. I was getting clean and like trying to rediscover myself as a woman. So it just, you know.
Yeah,
and so
in Crash, they want you to be as unattractive as possible.
And that was people that like had just gotten out of prison. Yeah. You know what I mean? That like are on parole that they're trying to reteach that have like gnarly drug charges and stuff, you know, and I was self-admitted. So I just wanted a place that was a little bit more lax. That would like take me to the beach and stuff like that, you know. Yeah. And Crossroads was that. So
that's cool.
I completed Crossroads at 65 days, I think. I didn't even stay for 90 days.
Oh, no.
Well, technically, I got kicked out because...
Oh, what?
Yeah, I yelled at a staff member that was working there. I told her to go fuck herself. Blah, blah, blah.
No.
You know, but they worked me, like, to my last, like, limit. You know what I mean? Like, to my drawing point, because they have this thing called, like, being a house mom. You cook dinner for everybody. You have to do all this cleaning. And then they wanted me to walk like an hour to this meeting. I was exhausted by the end of the day because I woke up at 5:30 a.m. to make oatmeal for everybody because I was a house mom and clean the kitchen and just, and, you know, and one of the staffs, would give rides to the girls that couldn't walk, like girls that had doctor's notes and stuff. And I was like, can I please just get a ride because I'm burnt the fuck out. I'm tired. And she said no. And so I kind of just, I let my anger get the best of me. I was just like, fuck this place. Fuck you, you know? And looking back, it's like I would never do something like that now because I've had so much, you know, time and growth to process things. But it's like, I was really fresh in my recovery. So just, you know.
Yeah, of course.
So they were nice about it though, and they were like, you know, we'll give you a warm handoff to Dollface Club.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and the like main she was like a director of Crossroads. Dawn, shout out to Dawn. She's awesome.
Dawn, yeah, I know her.
Yeah, she is good friends with Clea.
Yeah,
and so
she is.
She called Clea and was like, I got Sydney here, and she like is getting kicked out technically, but I'm giving her a certificate completion because it's like they like people have a love-hate relationship with me. I'm like this little shithead, but at the same time it's like I'm so chill and nice. I'm a Gemini, so I have two sides to me.
Yes,
you know what I mean? And so people will get like super like attached to me and just want me to do so good, and then you know I just get so mad sometimes and fuck it off. So it's like I also didn't mention when I left Oregon I robbed my dad.
Oh,
yeah. So
that's not nice.
I stole about like $25,000 worth of guns for my dad.
What?
Yeah, to trade for fentanyl and money.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So him and I did not end on good terms, but I have something positive to bring up towards the end of this.
Sure.
Him and I were not on speaking terms, obviously, when I left. And he was just mad. I gave it some time. So I went to DFC after Crossroads. Was there till January, the beginning of January. Clea helped me get a job at Sprouts, which is where I currently work now.
Cool.
Modeled for DFC and Clea. You know, started going to church again with Travis and Clea. I love them. They'll always be my family.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was just overall good. The house was gorgeous too. It had a pool, just like
yeah.
And the second house. I was at the second one. Yeah. And
that's
so
a pretty dope one.
Yeah, it was nice. And ended up leaving in January. Went back to my mom's house. Still working at Sprouts. And just saving up money and stuff. And then found my own like sober living apartment in El Cajon, which is just me and one other roommate. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom.
Yeah.
More privacy, less women.
Yeah.
That was like a step up for me, and it's still like a sober environment where I can, you know. And I'm currently on step 3 with my sponsor.
Okay.
My sponsor is Terry Talmadge, TT.
Oh,
I love her.
Hey,
yeah, shout out to
awesome.
TT.
Yeah,
she's great.
Shout out.
Yeah, and she has just opened my eyes to like a whole new
I've heard very
world.
Good things about her.
She is amazing. She really is. She has like, I have had so much personal growth thanks to her, like opening my eyes and the way I would react to things. She is like the number one person I call when I feel like I'm having a bad day, or, you know, that's what a sponsor is for. And so she's like kind of helped shape me into like the person I am now, which is like, I am so calm and rooted and collected. It's like, it's beyond me how like I got to this point of just like self-growth on this journey in my recovery. But it's like, it's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? I was like reflecting yesterday on just how far I've come since like that girl that was in detox fucking dying. You know what I mean? And so I still work at Sprouts. I'm getting my license back this month, which is exciting.
Nice.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's been suspended for a while, but I get it back on St. Patrick's Day. So
nice.
Woo. Yeah. It's exciting. You know, I haven't driven in a while. I'm not a horrible driver, but it's, you know, I won't have to Uber everywhere. Uber's fucking expensive.
Oh, hell yeah.
So expensive.
I can't with that right now.
Yeah, I can't. It's like, even to go to work is like $40 a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
$20 there, $20 back.
Like you know, half your fucking check.
I'm 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Like, why? And then the Uber drivers tell me, oh, I only make $6 off this trip. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, dude? They're straight corrupt.
They do talk shit about how much
they're corrupt, you know? So funny.
It's so true.
It's true. Yeah, still working at Sprouts, getting my license back, and I just went to a meeting with my sponsor Friday. We went to the Bikers in Recovery meeting in Lakeside.
Cool. Nice.
Love that meeting. It's a great meeting, great shares there. I got clean June 5th of 2024, but I did relapse in October. So my clean date's October 1st, 2024.
Okay.
So let me hop on my clean time app real quick. I know I have over 4 months right now. I have 5 months and 1 day today.
Wow, here's another one for you. That's awesome.
5 months and 1 day today. So I have 1 more month till I get to 6 months.
Hey, that's awesome.
I'm super excited.
Fuck
yeah. So when I mentioned my dad thing.
Yeah. What happened with that?
So I was watching my Instagram story and my little sister viewed my story.
Okay.
Allison, and she's like 17 now. And I don't know. I just had this like overwhelming feeling to like call my dad for some reason. He had me blocked previously, so I was just like, I'm just gonna give it a shot and see if like it'll go through. And it did. I called him while I was on my break at work, and he answered, and I was like, after 2 rings, and I was shocked, you know.
Wow. So it was like he was waiting for you to call.
Yeah, kinda. And I started crying right away. I've been like getting in my feelings a lot lately because I'm like,
it's part of the process.
Yeah, exactly. And I told him I was sorry and that like I wanted to make financial amends to him, and he was like, money is not even like a issue.
Yeah.
And like I'm just glad that you're okay. And he's like, I haven't heard from you in a while. Yeah. And I was like, I've been clean for a while now. Like I'm working and have my own apartment and I'm getting a car and just like caught up on everything with him. And he was just like, I'm just glad that like my daughter's okay. You know what I mean? And so I made amends with my dad yesterday. And so that's was awesome. Like the number one like thing that's been like on my list since I've been in rehab and everything was to make up with my dad, just to even be able to apologize to him, you know, and be on speaking terms with him, because I feel bad. Like I thought my dad was such a like asshole in my addiction because he wanted me to get clean. He drove me to detox and I kept leaving detox and like he's just like, you know, and it's just so twisted how you think when you're getting high. You know what I mean? And like when you get clean, you just realize all these people are like looking out for you and they just want the best for you. So yeah, I've come a really fucking long way. So pretty much from age 12 to 25, doing drugs, drinking, smoking, coke, ecstasy, Xanax, all that stuff, heroin, fentanyl, all that stuff. And so my longest like term of sobriety was 2 years. So I am planning on getting past that. I plan on staying clean for like the rest of my life. I can't promise it, but that's the way my life is going right now.
You're doing it today. That's all that matters.
Yeah. And so for that, I'll take like another 24. You
know
what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you so much, Sydney, for coming on here.
Of course. Thank you.
I had a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you so much, and I'm rooting for you.
Thank you.
Really,
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.